ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। Hare Krishna. So we just started the 9th chapter yesterday and we read a couple of verses and we are continuing further. Prahlad Maharaj has started to request Prahlad Maharaj prayers. Can we say like that? Prahlad Maharaj starts to pray? Or?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Prahradam preyasam asha brahmavasthitam antike tata prashamyopehi swapitre kupitam prabhum. Thereafter, Lord Brahma requested Prahlad Maharaj, who was standing very near him. My dear son, Lord Narasimhadeva is extremely angry at your demoniac father. Please go forward and appease the Lord. Actually, I've been thinking about this point that you said, how it's not unnatural, artificial. He is angry, and therefore, because it's a little difficult to understand, like even deity worship, oh, I have to offer this to Krishna and this and that. Sometimes I have a tendency, oh, it's God anyway, he understands why I need to do like this. He can eat from there also, like, but we need to treat him as a person. And now with this ability of Nrsingadev to become angry, really, it's also very fascinating. Yeah. Tateti sanakairajan mahabhagavatorabhakah upetya bhuvika yena nanam vidritanjalihi. Narad Muni continued, O king, although the exalted devotee Prahlad Maharaj was only a little boy, he accepted Lord Brahma's words. He gradually proceeded toward Lord Narasimhadeva and fell down to offer his respectful obeisances with folded hands. Swahpadamule patitam tamarbhakam. Swahpadamule patitam tamarbhakam. Vilokya deva kripaya pariplutah. Utpyatatshinya adatatkaram bhujam kalahi vitrasta diyam krita bhayam. When Lord Narasimhadeva saw the small boy Prahlad Maharaj prostrated at the soles of his lotus feet, he became most ecstatic in affection toward his devotee. Raising Prahlad, the Lord placed his lotus hand upon the boy's head because his hand is always ready to create fearlessness in all of his devotees. Purport. The necessities of the material world are four. Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maituna. Eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. In this material world, everyone is in fearful consciousness. Sada samudvigna diyam. And the only means to make everyone fearless is Krishna consciousness. When Lord Narasimhadeva appeared, all the devotees became fearless. The devotees' hope of becoming fearless is to chant the holy names of Lord Narasimhadeva. Yato yato yami tato Narasimha. Wherever we go, we must always think of Lord Narasimhadeva. Thus, there will be no fear for the devotee of the Lord. We're having a Narasimha Yagya the day after tomorrow. So I'm feeling very blessed. We kind of invoke Randaberunda Narasimhadeva, Sudarshana Narasimha, Karala Narasimha, the four types of Nrsingadevs. Form of Nrsingadev, it's not like it's all not only names, it's actually the forms. And I'm actually wondering, Nrsingadev here appears, right? Like like this, and Prahlad is going to appease. But then we have all this, right? Randa, Berunda, and Narasimha is during the killing, is it?
Which one?
Like there are different four types.
Which form you're talking about?
Like when he's ferocious and aggressive and...
Well, even there are different. Like in Mayapur, it's called Ugra.
Stanu.
It's called Stanu. Well, it's Ugra and Stanu. General categories Ugra.
Here, he's here.
And this particularly Stanu Nishinga, which generally is not worshipped because it's just too angry.
This is just before he's killing Hiranyakashipu, Stanu.
No, this is just after coming out of the...
So before killing.
Yeah. See, when he comes out, it's as the highest of intensity of anger. See, because when you get to fight, you focus more on the fight and the skills and this and that. But here,
he's ready to.
It's just coming out.
Oh, I guess so. Then there are like Stanu, and then there is Karala Narasimha, and then there is the Randa Berunda Narasimha is like probably when during the process of killing.
Like some deities are actually Hiranyakashipu on the laps being killed. This is different. I mean, in Ahobilam, there are 9 forms of Nishingadeva.
But here also he's looking like his hands are like ready to open up.
This is Stanu. Nishinga is coming up.
Yeah, so this what we do in the yagya is like Digbandhana. Means the 4 sides we invoke the 4 forms of Nrsimhadev that will protect the individuals on different levels. So what does it mean? Like even Krishna, when he comes, he has different rasas, right? He has a rasa with Vatsalya and everything. But when he comes as Narasimha or Vamana, Varaha, is he also in different modes even within that? Is that?
Well, of course, he interacts with different people different ways. But may not manifest all the rasas. Like Matsya, you don't see him in conjugal rasa. Or Nishingadeva, you don't see him in conjugal rasa much, unless you calculate when Shingini comes to bring him away. But so definitely different avatara manifest. Of course, certain avatara manifest more, like Ramachandra, there's a lot of Vatsalya rasa. Nishingadeva is coming out of a column that doesn't have parents at all. So, like that.
Yeah. So, our home deity is Lakshmi Narasimha Swami, our family deity. So that's after, right? After everything, and Lakshmi Devi, after Narasimha is pacified, and then Lakshmi Devi comes and sits on his lap, and all the demigods are showering flowers. So that's when Narasimha Dev kind of gets established back into his normal mood or something. And then what happens after that? Leela and Narasimha still there is a Narasimha Loka, as I know. And there he's always in the form of Narasimha form.
Not necessarily. But there is in Jambudvipa, it's described how he lives in Jambudvipa and is worshipped by Prahlad with certain prayers. It's in the 5th canto.
Should I go here or?
No. Maybe we can move on.
Sattatkaraspasha dutakhila shubhaha sapadyabhivyaktas paratma darshana tatpada padmam hridi nivrito dadau hrishattanuklin nahridash ashrulochanaha. By the touch of Lord Nrsimhadeva's hand on Prahlad Maharaj's head, Prahlad was completely freed of all material contamination and desires, as if he had been thoroughly cleansed. Therefore, he at once became transcendently situated, and all of the symptoms of ecstasy became manifest in his body. his heart filled with love and his eyes with tears, and thus he was able to completely capture the lotus feet of the Lord within the core of his heart.
So, for instance, in Bhagavatam says that Lord Nrsingadeva resides in the tract of land known as Hari Varsha. And there, Prahlad Maharaj offers with all the servants and all the inhabitants of Hari Varsha worship him with these mantras, which are in the 5th canto. That's more like formal meaning. It's more what you call steady or permanent. He lives there. In at least in one form, he lives there.
So in that world, Nrsingadeva has all these different rupas.
Which rupas?
Like all Karala Narasimha, Randabenda Narasimha, Sudarshana Narasimha.
There's no mention of that.
Like in Ahobilam, they have so many Narasimhas, right? What's the significance of different forms of Narasimha? I should ask Guru Garu this.
Well, like one has got the bow. One plays with Varaha, Nishinga and Varaha. So there are different forms. Just like different deities, there are different moods. So I don't remember now. There's a whole book on Nishingadev, like a coffee table book with all the pictures. But yeah, I'm not expert on all the forms of Nishingadev. I never studied. I know this is Tanu Nishinga. It's a Ugra form, very angry. Then, of course, there is Yoga Nishinga, like a Melkote, meditation, so very peaceful. Yeah, definitely. There are different moods.
You know, you said about Melkote, and then I was remembering, you know, somebody stole all the silver and gold of Narasimhadev on the hill. And then finally, they got the gold and the silver. But then the government refused to accept it. They said it's not made exactly how it was, because the thieves who stole brought it to the jeweler. The jeweler immediately melted it, knowing that it's from Nrsingadev. But then he got caught. And then he made the thing again, like as he remembered. But the government said, no, but it's not exactly looking the same. And then you know what the Pujari told me, Tirumala, the main Pujari? He told me, well, Yoga Narasimha Swami's devotee only this thief must have been. He must have prayed and Narasimhadev must have granted him success in his theft. So the thief also got his money. The jeweler also got to keep the jewel. Finally, only Narasimhadev had to sacrifice.
Yeah, but the jeweler also, I heard that they got so many diseases.
But I'm just saying that being Yoga Narasimha Swami's mood is very forgiving. So the thief who came, he must have prayed that was the mood of the Pujari, that the thief who came must have been blessed by. I was telling a story from Melkote Narasimha Swami. One time there was a theft that happened. They took away all silver and gold of Narasimhadeva. It's Yoga Narasimha Swami. Just now we were talking about different kinds of Narasimha. There is Yoga Narasimha Swami. There is Tanu Narasimha Swami. There is Lakshmi Narasimha Swami. There is Karala Narasimha. And then there are Randa Berunda Narasimha. There are different kinds of Nrsingadev. So I was saying how Yoga Narasimha Swami, he was so kind that after stealing, they got somehow caught, but still the thief got to keep it. And the jeweler who had melted it also got to keep the pots, which basically is like Narasimhadeva's devotees only, the Pujari was saying. Both this thief and the jeweler who melted, they are both devotees of Narasimha only. They must have prayed very hard, asking the Lord to make their thief successful. Like that. Anyway, yeah. Okay, we continue reading. If you have any other points about Narasimha, and also Prabhu speaking about Narasimha in Hari, what loka? Is that
It's not the Loka, it's Jambudvipa.
Jambudvipa?
And it's Hari, which,
We're talking about where Narasimhadeva lives permanently.
well, in the world, in the
In the Jambudvipa.
Harivarsha, in Jambudvipa.
In Jambudvipa and Harivarsha. Actually, it's very difficult for me to understand these things. Like there is Ayodhya in the spiritual world, there is Harivarsha where Narasimhadev resides. There must be Loka for Varaha, Loka for Matsya.
I don't know. These are Leela avatars. I don't know if they have their own Loka. I don't remember reading it anywhere.
Narasimhadev is Purusha avatar, right?
No,
He's also Leela avatar.
Purusha avatar are the three Vishnus. He's Leela avatar.
Krishna is original.
Yes,
Rama is.
so Leela.
So Leela avatars don't have their own universes.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying that the name may be the same, just like on the cover of the Bhagavatam, you see that you see this, and you see the names here. See the names, and there is Nishinga, but they may not have the form. They are form of Narayana. They may have that name, but they may not necessarily have that form. See, when you see the cover of the first canto of the Vaikuntha, you see many names. Now, go and see.
It's okay. Should I continue reading?
Yes, please.
As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 14:26, Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita 9:32, the Lord says, Mam hi partha vyavashritya yepi suya papayonayah striyo vaishyastata shudrastepyante param gatim. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, merchants, as well as Shudras, workers, can approach the supreme destination. On the strength of these verses from Bhagavad Gita, it is evident that although Prahlad Maharaj was born in a demoniac family, and although virtually demoniac blood flowed within his body, he was cleansed of all material bodily contamination because of his exalted position as a devotee. In other words, such impediments on the spiritual path could not stop him from progressing. Excuse me. For he was directly in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who are physically and mentally contaminated by atheism cannot be situated on the transcendental platform. But as soon as one is freed from material contamination, he is immediately fit to be situated in devotional service.
So here on the cover, you see different names like Sri Govinda, but there's not Govinda in Vrindavan. Or you see here like Upendra, which is the general name of Vamanadeva, but that's not, I mean, that's just a Narayana form. So that's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, depending on how they hold the symbols in different hands. Anyway, that was the point.
So, can we conclude that even though we may have come from non-devotional background or dysfunctional backgrounds, like here it says that although he was in a demoniac family and although virtually demoniac blood flowed within his body, he was cleansed of all material bodily contamination because of his position as an exalted as a devotee. So can we say that regardless of our dysfunctional upbringing or any other problems our parents might have, etc., by practicing seriously Krishna consciousness and taking shelter of the holy name in the best possible way of depending on the holy name, we can also be immediately cured of all the contaminations.
That's what we always sing at the Diksha ceremony, no? Om Pavitra Pavitro Va Sarvelas Ashtam Gatu Piva Yatsmarit Pundari Keksha Sadhava Yantara Suchi. So one keeps himself in the holy name, in the association, in the Bhagavatam reading, and he will be purified. Whatever is there, either it will not be able to act or it will be gradually removed.
So it says in Prahlad, all these things didn't impede him in his spiritual path, right? Because he was directly in touch with the Supreme Lord, since he was always chanting.
Huh?
Because he was always chanting. That's how he was
always thinking of Krishna.
That's what means directly in touch with the Supreme Lord.
There are different ways of being directly in touch with the Supreme Lord, obviously.
Okay.
I mean, there are different ways to be in touch with the Supreme Lord, right? One can think of Krishna, one can chant Hare Krishna, one can take prasadam. So there are different ways and different levels of intensity of consciousness.
Being balanced for Krishna is also being in touch with Krishna.
If you're thinking of Krishna, obviously somebody's sitting there and watching a Bollywood movie, it may not be so much in touch with Krishna. But if you're sitting there, yes, you're listening to Bhagavatam, bhajan, or you're meditating. You're doing it mechanically, it's not so directly. But yeah, of course, it is direct, but depends on the consciousness. The activity may be direct, but depends on, there are different levels of intensity of being directly in touch with Krishna. One is like Shantarasa, just, oh, Krishna. And one is more, okay, eagerness or much more love. But definitely doing devotional service, one is in touch with Krishna, but one may forget. One may forget, may just be absorbed in the physical activity or be distracted.
Would you like to read this?
I can read from here. 1.7. Ashtau siddhari mekagramaanasasu samahita prema gadgadaya vacha tanyast vidayekshana. Maharaj fixed his mind and sight upon Lord Nrsingadev with full attention, in complete trance. With a fixed mind, he began to offer prayers in love with a faltering voice. For Prabhupada, the word susamahita means attentive or fully fixed. The ability to fix the mind in this way is a result of yoga siddhi, mystic perfection. As it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Dhanavastita tatgatina manasa pashanti yam yogina. One attains yogi perfection when he is free from all material diversions and his mind is fixed upon the lotus feet of the Lord. This is called samadhi or trance. Maharaj attained that stage beyond the senses. Because he was engaged in service, he felt transcendently situated. In nature, his mind and attention became saturated in transcendence. In that condition, he began to offer his prayers as follows. Sri Prahlada Uvacha Brahmadaya Suraganamunayo Tasiddha Satvaikatanu Gatayo Vachasam Pravahai Naraditum Purugunair Adunapi Pipru Intushtum Arati Same Harir Ugra Jate. Prahlad Maharaj prayed, how is it possible for me, who had been born in a family of asuras, to offer suitable prayers to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even until now, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma and all the saintly persons could not satisfy the Lord by streams of excellent words, although such persons are very qualified, being the mode of goodness. Then what is to be said of me? I'm not at all qualified. Prabhupada Vaishnava is fully qualified to serve the Lord, still thinks himself extremely low while offering prayers to the Lord. For example, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, says, Jagai Madai Hoite Munise Papishta Purishira Kita Hoite Munise Lagishta. Adilila 5:205. Thus, he considered himself unqualified, lower than the worms in stool, and more sinful than Jagai Madai. Pure Vaishnava actually thinks of himself in this way. Similarly, although Prahlad Maharaj was a pure, exalted Vaishnava, he thought himself most unqualified to offer praise to the Supreme Lord. Mahajano yena gata sapantaha. Every pure Vaishnava should think like this. One should not be falsely proud of his Vaishnava qualifications. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has therefore instructed us. Tinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amani manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige. Should be ready to offer all respect to others. Such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Unless one is meek and humble, to make progress in spiritual life is very difficult. Beautiful verse, the fact that it's not becoming proud is actually, I'm not surprised. He's surprised. How is it possible? Brahma, Daya, all these great personalities, and then they're obviously not a very level, but type Ugra Jati, terrible. Ugra Jate, Ugra birth, very bad birth. So how I can, how can I qualify also? Sure, Prabhupada gives these two examples. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and of course the instruction on the shikshas by Lord Chaitanya. Manedana bhijana rupa tapashrutaujas teja prabhava valapaurusha buddhi yogam naradanaya Ibhavanti parasya omso bhaktya tutosha Bhagavan Yacharyuta Payam. Sorry, I want to share the screen, but somehow it's going different places. Can you put the verse back, please? It's 799. Maharaj continue. One may possess wealth, an aristocratic family, beauty, austerity, education, sensory expertise, luster, influence, physical strength, diligence, intelligence, and mystic yogi power. But I think that
this is which verse? 9.
I think that even by all these qualifications, one cannot satisfy Supreme Personality of God. However, one can satisfy the Lord simply by devotional service. Gajendra did this, and thus the Lord was satisfied with him.
You finished 8, 7, and 8?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Purport, no kind of material qualification is the means for satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, only by devotional service can the Lord be known. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. Unless the Lord is pleased by the service of a devotee, the Lord does not reveal himself. Naham prakasha sarvasha yogamaya samavrita. This is the verdict of all shastras. Neither by speculation nor by material qualification one can understand or approach the Supreme Personality of God. The Pradvishad Gunayutat Aravinda Naba Padaravinda Vimukhat Sukucham Varishtam Manetadarpita Manovachane Hitarta Pranam Punati Sakulam Natubhurimana. If a Brahmana has the 12, has all 12 of the Brahminical qualification, as they're stated in the book called Sanat Sujata, but is not a devotee and is averse to the lotus feet of the Lord, he is certainly lower than a devotee who is a dog eater, but who has dedicated everything, mind, words, activities, wealth, and life to the Supreme Lord. Now, the synonyms, space, swapacha, one born in a low family or a dog eater. In other words, called dog eater, even if he's not a dog eater anymore.
People really eat dogs?
China, they do all the time. Mind, so dedicated everything, mind, words, activity, wealth, and life to the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee is better. Especially Brahmana, because the devotee can purify his whole family, whereas the so-called Brahman in a position of false prestige cannot purify even himself. Purport. By Srila Prabhupada. Here is a statement by Prahlad Maharaj, one of the 12 authorities, regarding the distinction between the devotee and a Brahmana, expert in Karma Kanda or Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. There are 4 varnas and 4 ashrams which divide human society, but the central principle is to become a first-class pure devotee. It is said in the Hari Bhakti Sudodhaya, Bhagava Bhakti Nasya Jati Shastram Japastapa Apranasya Dehasya Mandanam Lokaranjanam.
Andanam Lokaranjanam.
If one is born in a high family like that of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya, but is not a devotee of the Lord, all his good qualifications as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya are null and void. Indeed, they are considered decorations of a dead body. In this verse, Prahlad Maharaj speaks of the Vipras, the learned Brahmanas. The learned Brahmana is considered best among the divisions of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. The devotee born in a low Chandala family is better than such Brahmanas, not to speak of the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and others. The devotee is better than anyone, for he is in the transcendental position on the Brahman platform. Mamsha yoga vicharena bhakti yogana sevate sagunam samatityaitam brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. 14:26 Bhagavad Gita. The 12 qualities of a first-class Brahmana are stated in the book called Sanat Sujata are as follows: Jnanam cha satyam cha dhamashutam cha yamat suryam haristiti kshana suya Yagyascha danam shadhriti samascha mahavratadvadas brahmanasya. The European and American devotees in the Krishna conscious movement are sometimes accepted as Brahmana, but the so-called caste Brahmanas are very much envious of them. In answer to such envy, Prahlad Maharaj says that one who has been born in a Brahmin family but is falsely proud of his prestigious position cannot even purify himself, not to speak of his family. Whereas if a Chandala, a low-born person, is a devotee, has fully surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Lord, he can purify his entire family. We have had actual experience of how Americans and Europeans, because of their full Krishna consciousness, have purified their whole families. So much so that the mother of a devotee at the time of her death inquired about Krishna with her last breath.
Wow.
Therefore, it is theoretically true and has been practically proven that the devotee can give the best service to his family, his community, his society, and his nation. The foolish accuse a devotee of following the principle of escapism, but actually the fact is that the devotee is the right person to elevate his family. The devotee engages everything in the service of the Lord, and therefore is always exalted. So this is standard Vaishnava philosophy. It's mentioned again and again how Satkarmani Punovi Pro Mantra Tantra Nisharada Visharada Vaishnava Guru Nasyat Swapacho Vaishnava Swapacho Guru, meaning one can have all the qualities of Brahmana, but if it's not a Vaishnava, it cannot be a Guru. Because Guru means representing Krishna. So what is he going to teach if he's not a devotee? But a Swapacha. Swapacha means dog eater. Literally means one who cooks dog. But obviously one who cooks dogs because he wants to eat them. One who is born in a family of Swapacha, but if he's a Vaishnava, he can be a Guru. So here it's not particularly mentioned the word Guru, but it's the same principle. The Brahmana, if he's proud and is not a devotee and is averse to the lotus feet of the Lord, he may not like the Lord. Maybe the Mayavadi impersonally is many Brahmanas like change the words of the Gita, say, no, it doesn't mean like that,
Doesn't mean surrender to Krishna as a person.
Yeah, and so on. So those are much lower than a devotee. Now, because of their family, because of the purification in the sense of cultural sophistication, they may still have maybe better mannerism. The devotee, comes from a low position, so maybe he doesn't know how to eat. Sometimes he takes prasad with the left hand, even if it's right. So people feel, horrified. How can he touch the prasad with the left hand? Those are the external things. I mean, Krishna doesn't look at those things. So, of course, we should become gentlemen. We should also get somehow purified in that area, but that's not the essential thing. That's not the principle. Those are details. So another thing, so this is standard thing. Even in Bharadwaj Samhita, which nowadays is being quoted and misquoted a lot, says the same thing. It says one can be a Brahmana, but if it's not the Vaishnava, cannot become a Guru. It's just so. In other words, this Vaishnava Shastra, Bharadwaj Samhita is part of Narada Pancharatra, so it's a Pancharatrika Shastra. They all conclude that, and here Bhagavatam itself, the highest of scripture, says, look, the point, you got to be a devotee of the Lord, obedient, devotional, developing your Krishna consciousness. Anything else, you can be anybody else, like a yogi, like Vishwamitra, you're lower. And we see again and again and again. So very graphically, the Devas, Like these are devas. You can see the Siddha, the Gandharvas. But here, quote unquote, low-born Prahlad Maharaj is the one who actually gives this display and display of beautiful prayers, very deep, very, very philosophical. And the Lord was not so pacified with all the other prayers.
You know, there's that song, Paramayogi Vara Bhagateya Shri Paramapurusha Paratpara. Basically, whatever you said. Paramatma Paramanu Rupa Shri Tirupe Katagiri Deva. This is about Balaji, but it's similar mood. So many devatas came and recited the verses and everything. And the Paramatma, Paramapurusha, the Supreme Lord, who is only impressed by the devotion of the devotees.
So here is also very, I find it intriguing when Srila Prabhupada drops this kind of autobiographical points, like he says it's theoretically true, but we also saw practically. Because here Prahlad Maharaj, okay, even the point here is that he can purify his whole family. And Srila Prabhupada saw it, although he was there for a few years, in one sense, in the West, he saw mothers of the devotee. He tells a story. The mother of the devotee, I heard this story, that mother of the devotee, she was not really devoted herself, but at the time of death, he just asked the son or the daughter, remember, is Krishna here? And then she just left.
Oh my God.
Things like that. So we see sometimes the devotees themselves, the parents themselves become devotees, practicing devotees, or at least they come to the dham, they visit the devotees, or they do different type of service. So it's a fact. It's not just a theory. And here Srila Prabhupada very strongly says that the European American devotees in the Krishna consciousness movement are sometimes accepted as Brahmanas, meaning when they take second initiation. But the so-called caste Brahmanas are very much envious of them. They will not accept. And unfortunately, these caste Brahmanas include also Vaishnavas in certain lineage that just don't accept that these people can become Brahmanas in some even Vaishnava line. They won't give them mantras with Om. Shudras or women. Like they give you, instead of Om Namo Narayanaya, they may give you Namo Narayanaya. You cannot say Om. Okay? So they specifically went to this group and they asked, what do you think women can become gurus? They said, no. They have their own ideas. Not all Sri Vaishnavas, the particular branch where they went to get support. And one devotee, Sri Prabhupada disciple, who knows very, very well, he has a house in Sri Rangam, he knows everything about the Sri Vaishnavas. He said this is misleading because they didn't ask them, do you accept Western gurus? So obviously, if they don't accept Western gurus, what authority?
Right. They will never accept
Gaudiya Vaishnava. I have for every Gaudiya Vaishnava what they say. So this Sri Prabhupada disciple publicly said this is misleading because you're not asking the crucial question. Do they accept Westerns as Brahmanas? And therefore, do they accept Westerns as guru? No, because in fact, he knew personally very well those people who were being interviewed personally. So, and so he said, see, you're just trying to to mislead. You're trying to mislead, you're trying to cloud the issue. And but the point is that what I want to say, unfortunately, this caste, so-called caste brahmanas, include Vaishnavas or certain groups. So we should be very careful. Not that, oh, bona fide Vaishnava, bona fide lineage. Yeah, bona fide lineage, but doesn't mean that they're free from this caste mentality. Okay?
Hmm.
You read?
Paramayogi Vara Bhagadeya Shri Naivatma Prabhurayam Nijalabha Purno Manam Janad Avidusha Karuno Vrinite Yadyajano Bhagavate Vidadita Manam Tachatmane Pratimukhyasya Yata Mukhashriya. Translation. The Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always fully satisfied in himself. Therefore, when something is offered to him, the offering by the Lord's mercy is for the benefit of the devotee. For the Lord does not need service from anyone. To give an example, if one's face is decorated, the reflection of one's face in the mirror is also seen to be decorated. Purport. In Bhakti Yoga, it is recommended that a devotee follow 9 principles. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Mandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. This service of glorifying the Lord by hearing, chanting, and so on is not, of course, meant for the benefit of the Lord. This devotional service is recommended for the benefit of the devotee. The Lord is always glorious, whether the devotee glorifies him or not. But if the devotee engages in glorifying the Lord, the devotee himself automatically becomes glorious. Cheto darpanam arjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam. By glorifying the Lord constantly, the living entity becomes purified in the core of his heart. And thus he can understand that he does not belong to the material world, but is a spirit soul whose actual activity is to advance in Krishna consciousness, so that he may become free from the material clutches. Thus the blazing fire of material existence is immediately extinguished. Mahadavagni nirvapanam. A foolish person is amazed that Krishna orders Sarvadharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Abandon all varieties of religious activities and just surrender unto me. Some foolish scholars even say that this is too much demand. But this demand is not for the benefit of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rather, it's for the benefit of human society. If human beings individually and collectively surrender everything to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in full Krishna consciousness, all of human society will benefit. One who does not dedicate everything to the Supreme Lord is described in this verse as Avidusha, rascal. In Bhagavad Gita 7:15, the Lord himself speaks in the same way. Namam dushkritino mudha prapadyante naradamaha maya pahrita jnana suram bhavam ashritaha. Those miscreants or grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Because of ignorance and misfortune, the atheists and the Naradamas, the lowest of men, do not surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, although the Supreme Lord Krishna is full in himself, he appears in different yugas to demand the surrender of the conditioned soul so that they will benefit by becoming free from the material clutches. In conclusion, the more we engage in Krishna consciousness and render service unto the Lord, the more we benefit. Krishna does not need any service from us. This reminds me of that monkey story. You said the hand of the monkey goes inside and he catches the sweet rice. Then he cannot get his hand out and he's stuck. So somebody may say it is too much of a demand to tell the monkey to let go of the sweet rice. But it's actually meant for the benefit of the monkey.
And one good thing, which is very refreshing within the Indian culture, Indian philosophy, Indian religion, is that Srila Prabhupada doesn't mince words. It just says foolish people. A foolish person is amazed that Krishna orders. It's just some people are foolish. And the Vaishnava recognize that some people are foolish, some people are illogical, some people are biased, and just like in the previous verse, you say these people are envious. No, they're envious. They're envious. They just want. They're so attached to their privilege. They don't want to share. So they're ready. They try to kill Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur because he was giving freely Brahmana initiation. He was bringing people to the Brahminical platform, and he was publicly declaring true religious rituals like giving the Upanayam and so on. So, and these people, they just hated this. And here is not talking necessarily about them, but he's saying it's foolish people. So sometimes in India, there is the sense that, okay, everything is okay. You know, you think like this, you think like that. Yesterday, I was hearing even in the West, some people just say, oh, there is no great truth. There's no great truth. Everybody's got their own truth, which doesn't mean anything. Because if what he says is true, that's a great truth. So if what you say is true, what you say is not true, it means you're talking nonsense. So if what you say is false by definition, then you're talking nonsense. So I find it personally very refreshing, because sometimes there is this kind of political correctness. Oh, you cannot criticize anybody. Oh, you cannot say this. Oh, you cannot say that. But Krishna uses this word all the time. Avajananti ma mudha. Mudha is the same as what? Murk, no? In Hindi is murk. In Sanskrit is mudha. And he just says impersonalists have no brain. Abudhaya, they have no brain. And the devatas, they have a little brain, but they say alpa medasa, small brain, which is also another insult. If you say you have a small brain, it's just stupid. No, impersonalists have no brain, and devata worshippers have a small brain. Why? Because devatas, at least, okay, they worship the devas, they go to Swarga Loka, they get what they want. It's not intelligent because you got to come back. So the whole thing is foolish ultimately, but at least it's something concrete. The impersonalist who says, avyaktam vyaktim apanam manyante mam abudhaya, those who think that there was an unmanifest entity, and from there Krishna came, they're abudhaya, because they're not talking about reality, they're talking about an imagination. At least the Devata worshippers, they are within the system of Vedic culture, and okay, it's childish, but it's real in one sense. But the impersonalists, they're saying something unreal. Because there are devatas. If you worship those devatas, no, yanti deva vrata devam pitri yanti pitrim vrata. Krishna says, yeah, if you worship them, you go there. So it's like, yeah, it's fact. But to say that Krishna comes from some unmanifested, impersonal something, that's really stupid. You're telling something that does not exist at all. Just talking about, say, the horns of rabbits. So there's no value whatsoever. So this is very refreshing, but many people feel challenged. Because they have false understanding. And sometimes even in public, Srila Prabhupada, many people became agitated. I think it was in Delhi, where there was a hippie, and he started challenging, no, I don't want to, and Srila Prabhupada made him sit on the stage, and he started arguing with him, and people became agitated. Oh, he's a sadhu, but becomes angry. There's so much cultural contamination. Besides theological contamination, they have cultural contamination, that somebody's a sadhu, it cannot become angry. But it's not true. In fact, the sadhu should become angry because all the nonsense that the people do. In fact, we'll see one of the prayers, he says, the Prahlad Maharaj will see one of the prayers, he says, all these rascals. But at the same time, he has compassion. It's not that, okay, they're rascal, finished, let them go to hell. The difference is that their rascal does do something to either neutralize them on the public view, or but let's help them. Let's help them becoming less rascals. Okay. So, but the point here was that Krishna does not need the service, so whatever he quote unquote demands is for our good. No, it's like a father who tells the child, go to school, read. It's not for what the father won't, a real father, some father was very fruitive and incapable, incompetent, may feel, oh, if he becomes rich, he will take. But a real father who is self-sufficient, intelligent, professional, he tells the child that because for the child, he doesn't get anything. He's not thinking, oh, the child will become a doctor, so he will sustain me, maintain me. No. So Krishna obviously has Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Sambrama Sevya Manam. He has thousands and millions of Lakshmis serving and serving him. So he doesn't need us in any way, shape, or form. He doesn't need anything in this world. He doesn't need this world. He doesn't even take the whole universe with all the gold mines, with all the mountains, with all the money, with all the banks, with all the cars, sports car, and all the private jet. He doesn't need any of this. So when he asks, it's for us.
Right.
So next. Tasmadaham vigata viklava ishwarasya sarvatmano mahigrana yatamanisham nicho ya jaya guna visargamanu pravishta uyeta yena hipuman anuvarnitena. Therefore, although I was born in a demoniac family, I may, without a doubt, offer prayers to the Lord with full endeavor as far as my intelligence allows. Anyone who has been forced by ignorance to enter the material world may be purified of material life if he offers prayers to the Lord and he has the Lord's glories. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is clearly understood that the devotee does not need to be born in a very high family, to be rich, to be aristocratic, or to be very beautiful. None of this qualification will engage one in devotional service. With devotion, one should feel, God is great, I am very small. Therefore, my duty is to offer my prayers to the Lord. Only on this basis can one understand and render service to the Lord. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya Mahama Vijanati Yavan Yaschasmi Tattvata Tatuman Tattvato Gyatva Vishati Tadanantaram. Bhagavad Gita 1855. One can understand the Supreme Personality of God as He is only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Thus, Prahlad Maharaj decided to offer his best prayers to the Lord without consideration of his material position. Sarve hami vidikarastav sattvadhamno brahmadayo vayami vishna shodvijanta kshmaya bhutaya uttama utatma sukhaya chasya vikriditam bhagavato ruchiravatare. O my Lord, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma are sincere servants of your Lordship, who are situated in a transcendental position. Therefore, they are not like us, Prahlad and his father, the demon Hiranyakashipu. Your appearance in this fearsome form is your pastime for your own pleasure. Such an incarnation is always meant for the protection and improvement of the universe. Prahlad Maharaj wanted to assert that his father and the other members of his family were all unfortunate because they were demoniac. Whereas the devotee of the Lord are always fortunate because they are always ready to follow the orders of the Lord. When the Supreme Lord appears in this material world in his various incarnations, he performs two functions: saving the devotee and vanquishing the demon. Paritanaya sadhunam vinashasha. Lord Nishingadeva, for example, appeared for the protection of his devotee. Such pastimes as those of Nishingadeva are certainly not meant to create a fruitful situation for the devotees. Nonetheless, the devotees, being very simple and faithful, were afraid of the fierce incarnation of the Lord. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj, in the following prayer, requests the Lord to give up his anger. Okay. Adhyachamanyamasuras chahatas tvayadhya mudita sadhura vibhrishipasarpahatya lokascha nirvritimita pratiyanti sarve rupam nrsinga vibhayaya janasmaranti. My Lord Nishingadev, please therefore cease your anger now that my father, great demon Hiranyakashipu, has been killed. Since even saintly persons take pleasure in the killing of a scorpion or a snake, all the worlds have achieved great satisfaction because of the death of this demon. Now they're confident of their happiness, and they will always remember your auspicious incarnation in order to be free from fear. The most important point in this verse is that although saintly persons never desire the killing of any living entity, they take pleasure in the killing of the envious living entity like snakes and scorpions. Hiranyakashipu was killed because he was worse than a snake or a scorpion, therefore everyone was happy. Now there was no need for the Lord to be angry. Devotees can always remember the form of Nishingadeva when they are in danger, and therefore the appearance of Nishingadeva was not at all auspicious. The Lord's appearance is always worshipable and auspicious for all saint persons and devotees. Prabhupada told the story that once he was here in the Gaudiya Math, here in Mayapur, at the Chaitanya Math, and at one point, this big snake came out like a cobra. At the time, there were many more because there were much less house and so on. Anyway, so the devotees didn't know what to do, but Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur came from his window and said, "Kill it." And they killed him, and so it was done. And Srila Prabhupada explained that he was a bit surprised, but bewildered that, wow, as a guru, as a sadhu, and he's told to kill the snake like that. Then Srila Prabhupada said, then I discovered this particular verse. He's reading, and then he kind of immediately remember, oh yeah, so it's, yeah. Now, obviously, doesn't mean you chase snakes and scorpions for fun or for hunting, but if they become closer to you, dangerous to people, and so on, you can kill them. You can kill them. Mosquitoes is a little more, what do you call it? More subtle, because I mean but some mosquito may kill you. You don't know, they may kill you with some dengue fever or some other crazy disease that they carry. So they're also very dangerous. One sense, I mean, many more people die of, as far as I know, many more people. I mean, let me check.
More mosquito bite deaths than snake bites.
Yeah, I guess. How many people die of snake bite? So here it says around 80,000 to under 37,000 people die each year because of snake bites, and around 3 times as many amputation and other permanent disabilities. So it's not a joke. So between 80,000 and 140,000 people die, just die. That means 132,000 means 137,000. Say under 40,000 means, no, under 40,000, sorry. Yeah, 140,000 means that every day it's like what, 100 people every day? 50 people every day, right? So if you do 50 calculator, because I would like to understand, no, really, what's the menace, you know? So let's say 1,40,000
One more.
divided 365. It's like 380 people every day. That means more than 15 people every hour die of snake bite. That means one every 4 minutes. Every 4 minutes, somebody dies of snake bite somewhere. So they are dangerous, and 3 times more amputations, disabilities. How many people die of mosquito? Okay, the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention called mosquitoes the world's deadliest animal. So more than 7 lakhs deaths worldwide every year. 7 lakhs. 700,000 people, which is like a medium city. So a medium city is killed every year just by mosquitoes. Although they weigh just 2.5 milligrams. They're minuscules. No, they don't have that visage of a big snake.
They're not scary.
They may not look scary so much.
They don't look scary like a snake.
They look like a scorpion.
Slithering snake or a scorpion with sharp eyes.
So more than 7 lakhs. So it's more than 4. It's about more than 4 times.
Wow.
More than 4 times.
So like 1,000 people die every day from mosquito bites.
2,000.
2,000 people.
Yeah.
Whereas snake bites only 300.
So 350 or so. Of course, depending on many things, depending on the season.
This is only America.
No. This is the U.S. Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, the world that worldwide. It's an American agency who's talking about a worldwide phenomenon. And this is here another place. American Mosquito Control Association, they say over 1 million. That means almost 50% more than what the other, because who knows, you follow somebody dies in some village in Himachal Pradesh, they're not all, but they calculate, they have their own ways to calculate. So one say 7 lakhs, one say more than 10 lakhs. And another, look, this is kind of scary. The general consensus of demographer is that about 108 billion human beings have ever lived, and the mosquito-borne diseases have killed close to half, 52 billion people, the majority of them young children. So here they say this is, I mean, of course, they don't consider the Puranic history. What is that?
The link was something in the morning. I sent notification that link didn't work. So they had to click on yesterday's. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Anyway, apologize. if you made a
Sorry,
mistake.
sorry, Sujata.
So this is very surprising. I never heard it. So forget, I mean, they not forget, you don't forget, but they don't know the Puranic history and so on. But they say, okay, there were 108 billion human beings. Now there is 8. Okay, before them, before us, there were 100 more. I don't know when they start, 2,000 years ago, 3,000, I don't know, but they calculate somehow that on this earth, 108 billion people live, and 8 are alive. That's us. And almost half have been killed by mosquitoes. Consider all the diseases, consider all the accidents, consider all the wars, consider all the other viral or bacterial pestilences, consider everything, the plague. Still, mosquitoes have killed almost half of all the people who were born on this planet. And mostly children. Seems that they're very vulnerable.
Mm.
So, wow, want to see this chat?
Yeah, today's link I copied, but then yeah, I sent the wrong one somehow.
Okay, so please send it also to me the right one, just so I have it fresh. Okay, so I guess mosquitoes are also very technically are more dangerous than snakes. Let me see to complete this research. How many people
Well,
die of?
I sent 2 eyes and one of them was right.
How many people die of scorpion bite? Probably less. Let's see.
Yeah.
Whoa. Wow. Yeah. But okay. In the world annually, there is about 1,200,000. That means 12 lakhs of people. Envenomation means they get poisoned.
I mean, these all
But-
must be in Africa, some deserted place.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, obviously, in some wild place there may be more, but in wild place there are also less people. So, and let me finish. 12 lakhs get bitten and they get poisoned, but 3,250 die.
Mm. So, everybody's happy
India-
that Hiranyakashipu died.
India
because
is the country with the highest annual number of
Scorpio bites.
envenoming
Envenom.
and death. Envenoming means poison. Of course, India is also the land with more people, so obviously there are more people getting poison in India than in Slovenia.
In London, I don't think people die much of scorpion bites. Can you just take a scorpion's poison, put it in an injection and give it to somebody and kill them?
Huh?
Can somebody take?
Probably, yeah. You take the active principle. Of course, poison is poison. You take it from anywhere. See, like here they give, anyway, I don't want to now spend too much time, but this for me was very graphic. Scorpions, okay, 3,250 people die every year, which is still about 10 every day. So we may say 10 every day, but for those family, can you imagine? Father doesn't go home. Why? Because a scorpion just bit him and he died. Just no poison went to the brain, no to the heart, and he died. 10 every day. It's not a joke, but it's much less than snakes and much less than mosquitoes. So it's a dangerous world. Padam padam yadi padam matation.
Listen what she says. I said in London there is not so many scorpion bites. She said only when scorpion in human form and are killing your spirit in London.
Yeah, there are many poisonous people who poison your heart, poison your mind, atheistic people.
Abusive people.
Yeah, just very contaminated people. Or people who just try to kill you, try to rob you, try to mug you.
Mm.
Those are ones that's more
Traumatic.
you could say how many homicides homicides in the world, more than 4 lakhs people die from homicide every year. So it means more than 100 times people die of scorpions, die of homicide.
Chaitanya.
So
Kali Yuga. Crazy.
scorpion, 3,250. More than 100 times that by homicide. So obviously human beings are much more dangerous than scorpions.
Seriously.
Less than 1% of global deaths are from homicide, less than 1%. But in some country, it is as high as 10%. In other words, you have 10 people, one of these 10 people will die of being killed.
Oh my goodness.
A crazy country like,
America.
No, not
Somewhere in Africa.
Honduras, San Salvador.
Really. Most violent countries. Kali Yuga is just really crazy, huh? Somebody was telling me, oh, some young people were telling me we don't plan to have children because 20 years from now, when our children will be 20, the world will really be so crazy. We don't want to have children.
And the trajectory, the calculated trajectory, what is that?
Also, number of wild spaces and habitats being reduced worldwide. So I guess the number of being poisoned in some parts of the world would decrease. However, we have started to see mosquitoes here in London now. Maybe they came from India. This summer, due to changing weather conditions, I completely got bitten this summer.
See, like for instance, in Italy, I don't go often, but when I was there, they called that there's some place they call it tiger mosquito. It's a very, very powerful mosquito.
Aggressive.
And they it's very hard to kill because they're everywhere, they put eggs everywhere. I remember I have many experiences of mosquitoes in my life. In fact, I got malaria. And they say when you have malaria, you have always malaria in your body, sometimes comes out. But so I have my experience of mosquito, okay, in my life. But the worst bite, I got it in Italy. Worse, at least as a pain. Maybe it didn't give me malaria, but as pain, the worst was in Italy near Venice. And I got bitten, and for about 15 days, it was hurting. And I know it was for that because the next day I flew out of Italy. I went to a completely different place. But for 15 days, I was scratching the thing. In India, generally, okay, you get bitten. But after half an hour, you don't feel anything.
That was a tiger mosquito.
Probably, I don't know. I didn't ask her.
What a name, a tiger mosquito.
I didn't ask, but it certainly was a very nasty mosquito. Imagine for 15 days, 10, 15 days, still feeling the pain, still feeling the scratch. Imagine how much stuff they put inside for hurting the skin, hurting the place so much for so long.
I always wondered what's the use of existence of a mosquito.
Well, they were probably caste brahmanas before, so I'm envious. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there are so many caste brahmanas, but I mean, envious people, they want just to suck the blood. And of course, you may say they are innocent. What do they know? They may not know that they're hurting anybody. They just feel, oh, there's nice blood, let's go. It's, in one sense, they're innocent.
Sujata got bitten in India and it was very horrible. She went to hospital. It took her through 2 weeks to recover.
Oof.
Whoosh.
You should read it if you can. Ask her, because she sends us direct messages. Are there ask her for everybody?
Is this message for everybody or is it only private message?
Is it only coming to you? I didn't realize, sorry.
It's for everyone.
Okay. So yeah, you can, because sometimes I see you send this direct message. I don't know if it's a private thing.
Yeah.
or if it's a public thing, you can share it directly with for
It
everybody.
only says here the option is Shri and RRD. So which one? Well, it doesn't say everyone on here for me to send message. It doesn't have that option.
It says,
Oh,
for instance, for us says RRD as a
maybe it's a
meeting group
setting that I
chat.
need to change.
No,
Meeting-
it doesn't. It's not showing that on mine. It just says Shri and RRD.
Okay.
So you could do
It's a
that
setting.
because sometimes the bodies want to share with
Of
everybody.
course.
Thank you. Yes, so these small animals cause a lot of trouble.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah, but
it's
if
more
they were
it's
the
more
SAS
like
Brahmanas, again they are
it's more
harassing.
like what you call psychology. It's like people are very afraid of sharks, but very few people are killed by sharks or by
Everybody's
lions.
afraid of mosquitoes.
How many? Well, many people are, but how many people die of shark bite? See, sharks,
10 people a year.
10 people a year. That means all over the world. I mean, all over the oceans, all over the seas. 10 people means less than one per month. But somehow the human psychology think, oh, shark, shark, shark. They really feel, also for the movies in the 70s, many movies came after that, Jaws and sharks. And people kind of got, oh, they feel threatened by sharks, but basically nobody dies. And not only that,
Only stupid people maybe. They
Not
go and
only
mess with
that,
them.
humans are responsible for killing over 100 million sharks. 100 millions. That means 10 crores of sharks.
They are peaceful.
Probably
right?
not every year, but in
general.
like in total. So the humans have killed 100 million sharks. 100 million sharks. It's a large country. It's like the whole Philippines. It's a large country. It's bigger than West Bengal, but only 10 people. And let's see
She says maybe the sharks came back as mosquitoes to seek revenge in humans.
how many people died
It's
from
such a-
lion attacks. So we are finishing now with this. How many people died from lion attack? You'll be surprised. You will be surprised that
whole year.
the lions annual number, they kill 250 people.
Only.
Yeah, I think it was less, frankly, but 200. So almost every 3 days, two. Let's say like this: every 3 days, 2 people die of lions because there are very few lions. Where are the lions? They're only in Africa.
Yeah.
There's nowhere else. So 250 people. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, in my mind, it's a lot. It's 25 times the sharks. Of course, sharks are everywhere. I mean, on the oceans. Lions are only in Africa. There are 100 left in Gujarat, but I don't think they kill them. And you'd be surprised that elephants kill double that.
The lions in Gir in Gujarat are super chill and skinny.
And you may be even more surprised that double the deaths caused by lions are the human deaths caused by
Hippopotamus.
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 They're really nasty and aggressive and powerful. I mean, 500
What do
every.
they do? They just run over humans.
No, they have these huge mouths. If they bite you, I think
They
that
don't eat. They're vegetarians, no?
I don't know. I don't think they're vegetarians. We could make another study, but anyway, they kill 500 people every year. That means every day, one and a half. Like every, say, in 4 days, they kill 3 people. Again, they're not everywhere. Hippopotamus, they don't have it in Europe. You don't have it in Russia. They only have it in Africa. But still, they kill 500 people. Okay, so with this, I
Conclude
think.
it philosophically.
Huh?
Conclude philosophically.
Let's.
I remember camping by a lake in Kenya and we were sleeping in a van and a hippo came out in the night. We kept so still and didn't move. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
hippos, they
terrifying.
look. See, I grew up.
They look funny, no?
I grew up with this publicity that was a publicity for kids. What do you call Pampers? What do you call Pampers?
Diapers.
Diapers.
Nappies. They used to have the nappies, the
Yeah,
hippos. Yeah.
And so I grew up, was this napkins, there was a pink hippopotamus, very sweet, very nice. So I grew up with that. So many people, millions of people. So it's kind of, they are they look like friendly, almost like pet, but they're terrifying. They're very, very, very heavy and very dangerous.
More than lions.
So we learned about snake bites, mosquito bites, scorpion bites, shark attacks, lion, elephants, hippopotamus, homicides. So there are many, many, many ways of dying in this world. And we can also conclude that sometimes we don't understand what the spiritual masters or devotees in general do, because we may not have the background, like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ordered, kill that snake. And Srila Prabhupada said, I was a little bit confused why he says like that, you know. But then he found this verse, this last verse that we were reading, and he understood, yeah, no, that's what the Bhagavatam says. That's what Prahlad Maharaj says, that even a saintly person is happy, is glad, not happy, but not in ecstasy, but happy, glad that the snake or scorpion.
So we shouldn't show compassion to snakes or snake-like
Apparently
people.
not.
Also snake-like
But
people.
snake-like people, it's not going to, you cannot kill. Obviously, it's illegal.
Yeah.
So you cannot kill a human being just because he's very envious or very, you cannot kill them. Yeah, they have to be careful, keep a distance. So we close here. Thank you very much. So if everything goes smooth, I don't know if Monday morning you'll be busy.
Yeah.
You'll be busy Monday morning. You'll be very busy. So probably Monday we will skip for the
Tuesday, yeah.
first time. We will skip a day.
Because we have guests coming from South India to do the yagya. So they will be here on 6th.
What time they leave?
Afternoon. Their train is around 7, 8 p.m.
Okay, so
after lunch.
you'll be very busy. So thank you very much, Krishna Weli. We'll see each other on Tuesday.
Oh, this is finished now. Okay, I just realized we have a time difference here now because our clocks went back.
Ah.
Yeah, they know.
It's 6 a.m. here. So that
When
means
did it change?
it changed last week. So I joined at 5:30, but actually it means that it would start at 4:30 a.m. now in London.
What time is it right now in UK?
It's 6:05 a.m.
Okay, so I have to
because our
change
clocks went back. Our clocks went back.
Has it changed everywhere?
No,
it's changed in England to GMT. It changed.
Not India, the US.
no, every country has got their own thing, and maybe in Europe they drop it. Maybe it's the last year they do that.
Oh, really? Good.
Maybe.
No, we've been changing it since ever. Like at this time of year, it changes. It goes back an hour. Okay, so
yeah, even in US also it gets changed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at different times of the year. And
Yeah,
in Europe,
sometimes.
stopping.
I think 6 months and then
Good. It will be good if they stop in.
I don't know, whatever.
It's all artificial anyway.
I mean, there are bigger dangers like hippopotamus. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna, and watch out for hippos.